of the statement and the Section 27 referral is all about the process which IDAC followed. And Mr. Padayachee makes it a point to state that he never had sight of the Section 27 referral, and we can draw several inferences from that, because from the statement, or at least on the face of it, you see at the very least that nothing that is stated there by Faudiel Adams, that is the Member of Parliament that would have made the complaint that gives rise to this particular case against Lieutenant General Khumalo, nothing in there constitutes a Section 27 referral. So it's not clear whether Padayachee is aware of that fact and is now placing it at the doorstep of the IDAC head and the committee that would have decided that. But also this doesn't assist him either, Tembegile, because how do you then conduct an investigation into a matter of such a serious nature, with such serious implications on a statement that makes suspicions and doesn't actually substantiate those suspicions in order to give credence to the allegations, or rather the investigation that you're placing, and it's now before court that this particular case is now being tested there. So it's about the process and what inferences you can draw from how IDAC does things. Do they just operate the investigators on autopilots where you leave all the decision making to the executive, or should the commission read more into the process that was followed into this specific matter, keeping in mind that the allegation is that this was a form of a counter attack, let's put it that way, allegedly against Lieutenant General Dumsani Khumalo in those SAPS factional battles that comes up about the Madlanga Commission, as we look at the various incidents that lead up not only to this crime intelligence battle, but also how this particular team also closed in on Vusi Muzikat Matala, which gives credence to the claim about the disbandment notice. So there are a lot of layers to this particular evidence and the process that was followed. And while it's not clear whether or not Padayachee is allegedly involved in this Khan cabal, as it is alleged before the Madlanga Commission, what is very clear is that the evidence so far casts serious doubts on the credibility of the case against Lieutenant General Dumsani Khumalo and other generals within crime intelligence, and the possible alleged motivation behind this case, because it appears that at the outset there are some questions that are rising now about the statement itself, whether or not Chief Perumal actually signed off that statement and not Faudiel Adams himself. And if that is indeed the case, then it raises serious discrepancies about how this matter was brought to court, one, and also whether or not that is indeed Faudiel Adams' statement or his complaint. Even worse, when you interrogate the complaint further, it's just suspicions on serious claims being made about crime intelligence, and at the very least one would have expected that you would have been able to substantiate it on several grounds in order for it to meet the Section 27 referral requirements, and that also is absent here. So it's not only a lot of questions for Padayachee, who has to continue at 9:30 in the morning, but also for the IDAC head, Advocate Andrea Johnson, and now Mr. Perumal as well, because how was this statement commissioned? Who signed the statement? And why was it not interrogated further in order to substantiate the claims? Is it just going to be a state where you see IDAC, which is supposed to be a high-level unit that investigates complex corruption matters, can just kick off an investigation just purely off a suspicion and no grounds to substantiate it? Well, that's what it's looking like right now in terms of the evidence so far. And with respect to the complaints against Lieutenant General Dumsani Khumalo and others, it's cast serious doubts or aspersions on what really formulated the need to investigate this particular complaint, because it actually doesn't meet the Section 27 referral requirements. And then, of course, what could have allegedly possibly motivated this complaint in light of the allegations that we've seen so far about what has been stated about IDAC as a unit, and allegations of selective justice, and how this unit is allegedly being used to fight SAPS factional wars.
And Kenny, the chairperson of the commission more than once, I think, kept saying, in fact, to Brian Padayachee that ultimately the commission at this stage is not pronouncing on the facts or the merits of the investigation into Mugwele's appointment, on whether or not indeed General Khumalo and the co-accused are guilty of anything, or in fact trying to clear them. But on the Khan issue and the so-called IDAC Khan cabal, Padayachee says he's not part of it. But how close does the evidence before the commission suggest is the relationship between Khan and Padayachee, and why would he ultimately have to respond to questions about that relationship?